Hey there everybody, hope your day's going well. Jacared Old School Gaming here, and welcome back to another Wild Wednesday. Well, okay, this theory of, from ProtoMario, of course, just Pokemon theory, Parasect isn't a Pokemon. Wait, so this thing, it's not a Pokemon. I suppose that kind of could beg the question of what exactly is a Pokemon. I mean, you don't just have Parasect. You have like Pikachu, which is like an electric squirrel. You have like Onyx, which is a giant string of boulders all together, sentient boulders. Well, at least one boulder's sentient, and I don't like it's part of the body. So like the rest of your body isn't sentient. It's your brain that's sentient. So I don't know, but. So specifically, Parasect isn't a Pokemon. Well, I suppose we have 5 minutes and 50 seconds to figure that out. Well, I say 5 minutes and 50 seconds. I don't know if there's going to be something at the end that I'll be cutting off, or hell, if there's some kind of a promo thing that I'll be cutting out. I don't know, but well, I guess no time like the present. Let's get into this video and see how Parasect isn't a Pokemon. Because I'm interested to find that answer.
Hello and welcome back, YouTubers, to another episode of Pokemon Theories. I'm your host, ProtoMario, and this is the show where we discuss theories ranging from Red being a ghost to why the heck Jinx looks the way she does. Hello and welcome back, YouTubers, to another episode of Pokemon Theories. I'm your host, ProtoMario, and today's theory is over parasites. Yeah, no one suggested this. This is something I've always been curious about. So today's star of the show is Paras and Parasect. So first, let's learn some background information about Paras and Parasect and find out if Parasect is actually a Pokemon or not.
Well, I'm definitely interested to find out, like, how would one classify Pokemon in the first place? Because, I mean, they are creatures. They do have a certain level of sentience. I mean, hell, there was the very early episode, like the Island of Giant Pokemon, turned out to be one of Giovanni's amusement park things. But like, when the Pokemon were separated from the humans, even because, I mean, back then it wasn't wheezing and Arbok, it was coughing and Ekans, they even said, Pokemon are not bad, we just follow Master's orders. And, maybe that's, maybe that's just like, oh, I am attached to my human, so I'll do whatever my human wants to make them happy. Yeah, but so, like I said, what classifies as a Pokemon? But, I don't know how we are specifically talking about Paras, and, well, you said parasites. Are you talking about the mushrooms on Paras's back? Because, I mean, there are certain plants and certain bugs in our own world that kind of, well, parasitically attach somewhere, and depending on where, depends on, like, exactly how they affect the body. And, like, certain bugs attach to certain animals that essentially that they take over the neural pathways of the brain and then force that animal to do what the parasite wants instead of what the animal would normally want. I honestly can't think of what it's called off the top of my head, but, I mean, hell, if someone knows, go ahead and put it down in the comments section. Well, it'll be a Thoughtful Thursday where I shout you out a couple months from now, but still. Yeah, so, I don't know, maybe... Is it part of how the two mushrooms eventually become one giant mushroom or something?
So, Paras is the bug grass type. It is of the mushroom species. That's pretty weird considering the creature itself is actually 90% not a mushroom. I mean, it really does only have those two little mushrooms attached to its back, and it could easily remove those. I would say it's more akin to a lobster than anything else, so why is it of the mushroom species? Its abilities is effects for or dry skin. It has the hidden ability damp as well.
Okay, well, some of those properties you are talking about beyond first gen, hell, beyond second gen too. But, I mean, I can definitely see it's kind of a lobster with, like, some kind of mushrooms, but I saw this little joke a little while back that, there's like the Earth is just a wet rock that was left out for too long, and now green things are growing on it. And maybe, like, I'm sure, like, maybe crabs have some kind of, like, I guess fungus growing on them sometimes, but maybe like another crab can come along and kind of clean them off, or how maybe, or maybe it's like a symbiotic relationship with like a fish that comes along and then eats the fungus because that's its food source, and then the crab walks away. Hey, I'm fungus free now. Yeah. I guess like its properties being damp. Or hidden ability being damp. That kind of makes sense because that's how mushrooms grow. But I like I said, are you saying that the mushroom itself is some kind of parasitic life form that takes over the brain of the lobster creature?
Paras can be found in caves and can be seen without the mushrooms on its back. In fact, it can even remove its own mushrooms.
Wait, so it can voluntarily remove its own mushrooms? That's weird. I thought that was just like a thing in the very early episodes of the anime when Team Rocket was like stringing lights together throughout all of Mount Moon, and it was causing confusion because normally the Paris wouldn't do that. Again, like hell, if I don't know. I kind of want to wait until you go into like maybe saying it's a parasite thing before making my own counter. That way I can counter what you say with something else.
So, for whatever reason, the mushrooms grow, and they can be used as a compound that will help with medical research and things of that nature. So, it's important to know these things.
Yeah, the like the spores from, well, technically actually is a spore, more of the spore from Parasect. Like very early on, it was like no, some medicine woman wanted her Paris to evolve into a Parasect because she could use like the more powerful spore it could produce to like create medicine for Pokemon. And then it was actually a while later there was like Ash got turned into a Pikachu for a while at least. And again, this kind of follows the like the logic of the Pokemon world, at least from the last few theories, that Pokemon are more than just creatures. They're more than just things to be caught and battled. They are a part of everyday society in the Pokemon world.
But one thing I want you to emphasize on right now is that Paris has pupils. Paris is aware. He is conscious. Look at him. He can see. He is very awake. He can even remove his own mushrooms.
Okay, but, well, yeah, but having eyes is not always a sentient thing. Have you seen the human race? Okay, well, that's not really a joke, but, yeah, that existential debates aside, the eyes are more just like a way to scan the area to either look for food or to avoid predators. Well, both for most of the time. And different animals have different kinds of eyes. Like dogs. Well, okay, it's kind of a myth that dogs only see in black and white. That's not quite true. They do kind of pick out color, but it's more of a everything's in like a. I would say maybe like I think it was I forget where I read it last or what the exact percentage is. I think it's like 70% grayscale. Like if everything was just kind of like how the first Technicolor TVs were. I mean, it wasn't quite full color, but it was to the point of, oh hey, check it out, that's pretty cool. And hell, even then, a lot of people compared it to, oh my god, this person is talking to me, and it almost looks like they're standing right here. And now we look at it and go, that's kind of terrible, at least compared to today's technology. But yeah, that's what eyes and how, like I said, dogs kind of see in of a grayscale, not full color, but not fully black and white. So yeah, eyes are, like I said, eyes are not always a condition of like sentience. Like hell, plenty of and hell, some creatures don't even have eyes. They just kind of like feel out the area and search for, like, hey, where's my food, and how do I avoid something that wants to eat me?
So that's something you need to be aware of right now. Now, we move on to Parasect. Parasect is a bug grass type and also in the mushroom Pokemon species, but it doesn't change that much. Well, apart from the giant mushroom taking up almost 70% of its body, besides that, it looks almost the same as Paris, wouldn't you say? In fact, it doesn't gain any more legs, its claws do not actually get bigger, and it no longer has the same mouth.
Okay, so it seems like you really are going down the path of saying that, maybe it's like two different mushrooms, but they join into one. Hell, even in our own world, we do see certain plants, like how trees kind of dominate, and then maybe they absorb things around them, and they just become part of the tree. And how maybe it's kind of the same with this, where two mushrooms become one. They just take over and essentially become parasites, as I think you might be going for. They become parasites to the Pokemon, driving it to gather nutrients so the mushroom can continue to live. And like the creature, like the lobster itself, essentially becomes dependent on feeding that mushroom nutrients in order for it to stay alive as well.
It has a more weird, less insect-like mouth. It does change color for whatever reason, and the mushroom goes extremely larger. So, theory time, guys. Parasect is not a Pokemon, and Paras did not evolve by its own free will or due to its strengthening. Paras evolved because the Parasect mushroom that was on its back as the host took over its brainstem and used its energy to grow to take over its body and its host. Parasect has no pupils, guys. It has empty white eyes. This is a sure sign that something is controlling it because its eyes are rolled in the back of its head and it no longer needs to use them to control its actions because the mushroom on its back is controlling it. Yes, you can remove Parasect's mushroom, but it's never really shown how that happens. Even in the anime, someone says that they're going to remove the mushroom to create a powerful, medicine, but then you never really see it happen.
Right, yes, okay. So as I thought, you were going into how the mushroom itself becomes a parasite, which, maybe that happens because the initial lobster creature starts getting fungus on its back, and then it becomes, I would say it's not it's not so much a parasite of the mushroom taking over the creature. Maybe it's more of a symbiosis type of thing, where because crabs, well, in our world, crabs have very strong backs. It's the belly that's actually quite soft, and the legs that people like to eat. But maybe in the Pokemon world, the initial Paras, without any mushrooms on its back, has a very soft back, and then the mushroom, that's how the mushrooms can actually attach. Well, how the fungus latches in and starts to grow, because it's kind of like a tapeworm sort of thing, where it absorbs nutrients because the creature it's attached to is also getting nutrients, and maybe it's like I said, maybe it's more of a symbiosis than a parasitic infection, where it's okay, we both want to survive, and then that's why as the mushrooms get more, and maybe they get stronger and they start growing. They eventually form into one, and then that one becomes like the hardback of protection for the creature, and the creature, well, the lobster thing, I guess, just becomes becomes a lot stronger, a lot tougher. I mean, hell, it definitely it definitely does become slightly stronger. It's not that great in first gen. I haven't caught one in second gen yet. Give that some time. Yeah, but it does get a decent stat boost, and maybe that's the whole point. Maybe the mushrooms, instead of two small things, become one big thing, become kind of a shelter that to protect the Pokemon. And it's just, hey, we're both working in symbiosis, and you get stuff to survive, and you help me to survive. I will protect you, so that way you can survive, and we both live in harmony. As for the no pupils you mentioned, well, maybe it doesn't need it. I mean, a lot of animals, they have eyes, but there's no pupil. It's just kind of a slit that essentially, especially with, well, I mean, this is kind of more of a bug and grass thing. But, I mean, hell, it is the Pokemon world. Because in our world, like, certain fish do have pupils, but some are just more of a sensory thing to, like, keep an eye out for any potential threats or any potential prey to eat. Yeah, and then you did mention that the one medicine person who wanted her Paris to evolve in the Parasect to use it's been a while since I've seen that episode, but I don't believe she said she wanted to remove the mushroom, but that she wanted to use the spores from the mushroom for medicine. Because, I mean, hell, mushrooms put out spores all the time, and if they're not being used, in a way, they're kind of being wasted. So, if you just collect the spores and then use them, it's a win-win, because, I mean, the mushroom just automatically does what it does, and then you get to make something beneficial out of it. So it's kind of a win-win in that situation.
Parasect does respond to your commands, and the parasite itself doesn't seem to have any beef with the trainer, and doesn't refuse the trainer's commands or orders, meaning that Parasect itself retains all its memories upon being seized by its parasite. The symbiotic relationship that originally was with Paris, with the mushrooms on its back, giving it the dual grass typing, and becomes a more of a parasitic relationship, and Parasect is born. I mean, think about their names, guys. Paris, parasite, Parasect, parasitic insect. It's controlled by the mushroom on its back. And yes, there are Pokemon that are mushrooms, so it would make total sense. The mushroom on its back is actually the Pokemon, and Parasect is just along for the ride, guys.
Well, I don't know. If I were to counter, like I said, I would say it's more of it's more of a symbiotic relationship, even with the giant mushroom, because like I said, maybe the back of this lobster creature is actually, or I guess insect creature. You compared it to a lobster, but yeah, it's bug grass, so maybe it's more of a like some kind of bug creature, like I don't know, maybe something between a praying mantis and a crab. But who knows? It's the Pokemon world. A lot of their creatures are really strange. But yeah, maybe it's still a symbiotic relationship where it's just like the mushroom itself becomes so big that hell, maybe it doesn't even need the eyes because of the mushroom spores. Maybe the spores kind of go out. Like maybe initially they're just such a. Maybe it's kind of like a radar of spores. It's just, okay, this is the world around me, and maybe it doesn't need the eyes because with all the extra spores coming out of the mushroom, it can actually see in a way all the way around, like in a full 360 degrees. And that's how it gets around the world. And again, maybe it's still a symbiotic relationship because the mushroom not only helps the creature see in all directions all at once, but provides a safe cover. That way the creature can be protected from any threat above or around. should something get really close.
I'm ProtoMario, and I'm signing out, and that's the Pokemon Theory for today. Please leave your interesting comments in the section below, and if I use one of your comments as a Pokemon Theory, I will give you a shout-out before the video. Thanks for watching, and of course, happy gaming.
Okay, yeah, that's the end of ProtoMario's video. He has like a 30-second outro that I usually cut off. But anyway, like I said, I pretty much said everything I want to say. Maybe the mushrooms are not so much parasitic as they are symbiotic, like through both stages of the evolution. And yeah, there's that. I don't even know what generation that green and white spotted thing. Well, it's like white with green spots or something. I don't know. I do not know what generation that is. It's not 2nd gen because I don't remember ever seeing a Pokemon like that when I was initially doing my research. Anyway, I will catch you in the next one because, like I said, I already said everything I wanted to say about this theory and all that good stuff. So yeah, nothing much more to say here except to wrap things up. So, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, hit that bell so you can always be notified whenever I upload another video. Don't forget to follow me on my other social media, linked down in the description. And as always, have fun.